All glory to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Please accept my Dandavat pranams. Vancha kalpatarubhascha krupa sindhu bevacha paritanam pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Gauranga he. Jai Gaurari Pramanandi Hari 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 Bo. I thank one and all for joining this session today on the glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam and Srinam Prabhu, the holy name of the Supreme Lord. We're going to continue always to speak about this because this is the essence of all knowledge. To glorify Srimad Bhagavatam, to glorify the holy name. This is the ultimate service. Madhava ki jai, Golokera Pramadhan Harinam Sankirtan Jai ki jai. Jai Vishnupada Param Sakarvacharya Sutra Srimad Param Radya Param Pujapar Vaishnav Siromani Gaura Priyajana Krishna Prema Bhakti Data Patita Pavana Srila Gurudev ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Param Sakarvacharya Sutra Srimad Iskon Pratishta Bhiviti Samstha Pakachara Gaura Priyajana Vaishnav Siromani Patita Pavana Abhojaraminda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Gauriya Guru Varga Patito Dhar ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatra Gunata Shri Jiva Gopala Bhat Dasa Guna Satguru Swami Prabhu ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ji ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrindi ki jai. Prem se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrindi ki jai. Param Dayal Se Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Jai Pramanama Sankirtane ka Janaka Prema Purushottama Shri Sachinandana Shman Gauranga Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Gaur Hari Mahavrana Avatar ki jai. Golokera Pramadhan Harinam Sankirtan Jai ki jai. Jugat Dharma Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Brihad Midanga translated into book distribution seva ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapurana ki jai. Nitai Gaurari Pramanandi Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled bodies Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled bodies Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled bodies Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru Shri Gauranga. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutanishmati Gaura Govinda Swami Gaura Graganya Ganagutra Valaruharam Gauranga Guretama Gopada Kalpavriksham Gopala Gadada Tidam Jadi Singha Gaura Govinda Rishikavaram Satata Namami. Narayana Namaskritya Narunchaivam Narottamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Jayadmudiraye Vede Ramayane Cheva Purane Bharate Tata Advante Chamade Cha Hari Sarvatra Giyate Mukhaṁ Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayati Girim Yat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramanandamadavam Dharma Pujita Kaitaputra Paramanirma Saranam Satam Vedyam Vastavam Astravasya Taputrayamulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kimva Paririshvara Sadhya Rudhya Varudya Titra Kritivi Shushu Vistakyana Nigama Kalpatarur Galitam Phalam Sukamukad Amritatrav Sangitam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Urahurasika Bhuvibabuko Anarthupasamam Satchat Bhakti Yogam Adukyaje Lokasya Janatu Vidran Sakri Sadvata Sangitam Yasham Vaisnuyamanayam Krishne Paramapurushe Bhakti Rupadyate Punsasoka Moho Vayapaho Srimad Bhagavatam Puranamalam Jad Vaishnamanam Priyam Yasmin Parangam Syamekamalam Jnanam Paramagiyate Tatro Jnana Viragavaiti Saitam Naskarmyam Aviskritam Tat Sruvan Sukatan Vicharano Paro Bhaktiya Vimuche Naro Arthuyam Brahmasutranam Bharatartho Vinirnayo Gayatri Basya Rupaso Vedartho Paribhrurita Sarva Vedeti Asanam Saram Saram Samadrutam Sarva Vedanta Saram Shramad Bhagavatam Isyate Tatra Samruta Trutasya Nanyatra Sradarati Kvache Krishna Bhakti Rasa Shri Bhagavatam Janmadhyasyatam vaya itaratas Jate Swabhigyasvara Tene Brahma Hrudaya Adikavaye Mojante Jasuraya Tejo Varimrita Jata Vinimayo Jatra Trisargo Mrisha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Demayi. O my Lord, Shri Krishna, Son of Vasudeva, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Shri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes, of the creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by the illusory representation of water in the fire or land sea on the water. Only because of him do the material universes, temporarily manifested by the reaction of the three modes of nature, appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Shri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representation of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. Completely rejecting all religious activities which are material motivated, this Bhagavad Puran propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in the heart. The highest truth is a reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such a truth uproots the threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva in his maturity, is sufficient itself for God realization. What is the need of any other scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavat, by this culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within his heart. Therefore, O expert and thoughtful men, relish Srimad Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the desired tree of Vedic literatures. It emanated from the lips of Sri Shukadeva Goswami. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful, although its nectarian juice was already relishable for all, including liberated souls. Shravantam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyantastu Bhadrane Vidhu Noti Suritsatam. To hear about Krishna from the Vedic literatures, or to hear from it directly through the Bhagavad Gita, it itself a righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. Nasta Preshu Bhadrishu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhakti Bhavatir Nastiki. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. And as he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in devotional service of the Lord. Tadara Jistamo Bhava Kamalhoba Dayaschai Chaitaitera Navidan Sita Sarve Prasidati. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lusts and avarice are diminished. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavat bhakti jogata bhagavat tattva vijnana mukta sangha sajayate. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the signs of God perfectly. Bhidyante hridaya granthis, chidyante sarva samshaya, kshiyante cha sakarmani, drusta evatmanishvari. Thus, the Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of the material affection and enables one at once to come to the stage of asamshayam samagramam, understanding of the supreme absolute truth, personality of Godhead. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the signs of Krishna. Haribo, Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapurana ki Jai. So, we're still discussing on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 1, text number 1. This is the beginning, the very beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, who is known as Mahapuran. Srimad Bhagavatam is the natural commentary of the Vedanta Sutra or Vyasa Sutra. Vyasa Sutra or Vedanta Sutra are the codes establishing the conclusion of the Vedas or Vedic knowledge. We have the 4 Vedas, and we have the Puranas, we have Upanishads, and their corollaries. But Srila Vyasadeva, the author of this Vedic knowledge, Vedic literatures, concluded everything in the form of codes, sutras, that is Vedanta Sutra. Veda Anta. Veda knowledge Anta is the conclusion. Sutra in the codes forms. And also known as Vyasa Sutra. Shri Krishna Dwapayan Krishna Srila Vyasadeva, who is no other than Supreme Lord himself, literary incarnation of the Supreme Lord. So Bhagavatam is Krishna, Supreme Person of Godhead. Since we are glorifying Bhagavatam, this verse always comes up. Krishna Tulya Bhagavat Vibhu Sarvashray Pratil Sloke Pratyakyare Nana Artakai. We should know this verse and remember this verse. This verse establishes the non-difference of Bhagavatam and Krishna. Krishna Tulya Bhagavat. Bhagavatam is as good as Lord Sri Krishna, Supreme Lord, Vibhu, unlimited Supreme Lord, who is the shelter for everything and everyone, whose glories and greatness are inconceivable. So is Srimad Bhagavatam. Especially in this Kali Yuga, It is said in Bhagavatam itself that Bhagavatam is Vishwatsat Dhamo Bhagate Jnanadivi. When Lord Krishna departed from this world is a world of darkness. Material world means darkness. By the mercy of Krishna, we have a son, material son, Suryadev, that dispels the darkness of this material world. And the proof is that when the sun is absent, or the sun is absent at the night, the whole creation is in the darkness, full of darkness. Sometimes we use the lamps or street lights or fire, whatever. But this is all the product of sun. Sun, the original fire. So if there were not sun, there would be no light, no fire, no any kind of illumination. I don't know why this world, material world, is world of darkness, full of darkness. By Krishna's mercy, the sun is there, and the sun is the king of this creation, the planets. The sun created all the planets. The sun is the life of this material universe. So, Bhagavatam is transcendental sun. Chinmaya Bhaskara, like it is said, Krishna as a super soul in everyone's heart, in the heart of all the living entities. He is Chinmaya Bhaskara. Therefore, Krishna is not different from Bhagavatam, because Bhagavatam is the science and a realization of that Supreme Personality of God, Chinmaya Bhaskara. Therefore, knowledge of Bhagavatam is as good as Krishna. Therefore, Krishna Tulya Bhagavat, as this son of the universe, the material universe, dispels the darkness of this universe. So, the knowledge given in Bhagavatam is compared to transcendental effulgent sun that dispels the darkness of ignorance, moha, illusion. When Krishna favors anyone, first he manifests in the form of knowledge. Because I also keep repeating this verse that says, Maya Mugdha Jivernahi Krishna Smritir Gyan. Jivere Kripale Kaila Krishna Veda Puran. The conditioned souls, deluded souls in this material world, have been captured, have been enchanted by Maya Devi, Devi Maya, external illusory of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, being the potency of the Supreme Lord. Maya is no different from the Lord. Shakti Shaktiman Abhina. There's no difference between Shaktiman, energetic, and his energy. Therefore, Christians in Bhagavad Gita say, Devi Esha Gunamai. Krishna claims that this Devi, this Maya, is divine. Means it's part of the absolute truth. Krishna claims my energy. Therefore, there's no Krishna is almighty. God is almighty, and there is no difference between the Almighty and His might. They're one. As much as we can never separate the fire from its heat. They're one and different. It's a sublime philosophy of the absolute truth, as established by Swami Bhagavan himself in the form of Guru Sundar, Sachinandan, Guranga Mahaprabhu, Achintya Beda Beda Tattva, inconceivably one and different, or inconceivable oneness and difference. So, Srimad Bhagavatam is like in Kali Yuga, is there like a fulgent sun. And it is in Bhagavatam, for those who have lost the sight, they cannot see. They should approach Srimad Bhagavatam, which is like effulgent as the sun. Because like all the conditioned soul, Maya Mukta Jivanai, Krishna Smriti Gyan, out of my the deluded living entities being enchanted by Maya, they've completely forgotten about their own identity, about their own constitutional position, about the goal of existence, of life. And they have no remembrance of Krishna. They have no remembrance of their own life and soul. They don't even know who they are. They have no knowledge of the self. And it is said, when you see the sun, immediately there's a sunshine. Therefore, if we realize the Supreme Personality of God, Supreme Lord, and we cannot reveal so, we can also understand about our real nature. We can understand ourselves. We can also realize who we actually are. So, nice Krishna Smriti Gyan, no remembrance of Krishna. Because Maya is very powerful. Krishna said, Devi Esha Gunamaya Mama Maya Duratya Mami Vaye Prapadyante Mayamitam Tarantite. That is Devi Maya. Krishna claims divine, my divine energy, and is insurmountable, impossible to overcome Maya. But by the influence of Maya itself, we conditioned souls think that we're actually exploring Maya, we're actually ruling over Maya by artificially trying to explore this, the resources of material nature. But we actually become more and more and more entangled in the network of Maya. It's what Maya does. In fact, we are completely subdued. We are crushed out by Maya. And we are thinking we are dominating Maya. This is great illusion. And it is said that higher the last nail of this illusion, Maya, is that a living entity thinks to be himself God. This last layer of Maya. But in this verse we're discussing, this first verse, first chapter of first came to Srimad Bhagavatam. There is clearly everything in this verse. It is said, by Supreme Lord himself, by Supreme Personality of Godhead, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in the fire, or land seen on the water. Again, only because of him do the material universes, the cosmos, creation, they are manifested by the three modes of material nature. And by the power of this illusion, they appear factual, although they are unreal. Although they are unreal. So, Maya is very powerful. Krishna claims is the divine energy. And this verse finished by saying, therefore, I meditate upon Lord Shri Krishna, upon him, Lord Shri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental good, which is forever free from the illusory representations of this material world. It's a clearly mentioned here. The Supreme Lord is Maya Dvisha, means is the master of Maya. Maya is his creation. He is the master of Maya, this illusory energy. Maya can never stand before Supreme Person of Godhead, before her master. She's ashamed to do so. She's a shadow. But when we face the sun, Krishna, we face the light, then the shadow is automatically behind us. But when we turn our back to this light, the sun, the shadow is in front of us. This is our situation. Krishna is master of Maya, master of illusory energy. Therefore, he is Maya, Tita, and we, tiny living entities, although qualitatively we are as good as the Lord, but we are tiny, we are minute, and we are always overwhelmed, overpowered by Maya. So we are Maya Bosso. Krishna and Maya Tita, we are Maya Bosso. Krishna is the master of Maya. We are dominated by Maya. This is the truth. It says in this verse. So, in order to get out of this darkness, we need the light. And Krishna is the light. And Srimad Bhagavatam is that effulgent light that dispels the darkness of ignorance in the heart of the living entities. Krishna says, Tesham ivanu kampartam aham agyana jantama. Natya samapa prastu. Jantama. Tesham ivanu kampartam aham agyana jantama. Nasyami bhavastu gyana dipena vashvata. Krishna says out of compassion, anukampa. Anukampa means out of compassion. For those who meditate upon Krishna, the Supreme Lord Krishna, that Bhagavatam says, and I was reciting that verse, I was glorifying Bhagavatam, he says that. For one who meditates, who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as best wishing friend and purifies the devotee, constantly engages in hearing him. So Krishna says this, Bhagavatam says Bhagavad Gita. Tishamino avakampata mahama gyana jantama nasyami amapapasto gyana dipayina vashvata. So, this is the situation. We've forgotten Krishna and Nahi Krishna Smriti Gyan. But then, Jivera Rupala Kela Krishna Veda Puran. But Lord Supreme Lord is always the ocean of mercy, Karuna Sindhu Kripamoya. He is very, very merciful, and in order to help to deliver these deluded souls in this material world, he has given this knowledge about himself. Jivera Kripala, out of mercy, Jivera Kripala. Out of mercy, Krishna has given these Vedas and Puranas. So that we can remember him. And Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Savrachahidi Sanvishto Mata Smith Jnanam Apuanam Cha. Question there may be, why then have you forgotten Krishna? Why have you come here? Because we desire to enjoy material nature. We desire to imitate Krishna, to be God, to be masters. Therefore, in order to do that, Krishna has to make us forget about him. We can go together. Because when we remember Krishna, that means we accept or we realize our constitutional position as the seven eternal loving seven Supreme Lord. At that time, we are surrendered unto him. Like all the eternally liberated souls in the spiritual world, they can never forget Krishna at any time. They can never. They're called Nitya Siddhas. Means eternally there's no time they can forget Krishna, never. Even apparently, when they come to this material world, for the sake of Lord's pastimes, that Krishna is the supreme drama director. By his will, different pastimes take place. Sometimes his dear servant, associate from the spiritual world, they come here and they play ordinary roles. Sometimes they're acting like demons. They're acting like enemies of Krishna. They fight with Krishna. Like this. But they are Nitya-siddhas. They do this for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord by the will of Yogamaya, of the Supreme Lord. But then you have eternally conditioned souls in this material world. They tend to forget Krishna. They are marginal. They are in the Tatastha region. That's the border between Karanakashaya Ocean, Viraja Ocean, and the material world. In that position, they are always in dualities, to take shelter of Krishna or to enjoy Maya. But when they try to enjoy Maya, Maya is so powerful, they're captured. They're captured. So they have been in this position since time immemorial. We can never trace out. They are energy of Krishna, known as Tatastha, marginal. And all the energies of Krishna are eternal, like Parashakti, internal or superior energy, spiritual energy. And Maya Shakti, external energy. Those energies are eternal. They have no beginning. So Jiva also, who is known as marginal energy, Tatastha, Jiva, is also eternal. Therefore, we say we are eternally conditioned. But because we are spiritual beings, eternal related to Supreme Lord, the Supreme Lord is so kind. He wants to free us, to deliver us from being in this pathetic situation of duality. But because we are qualitatively like him, he has, out of mercy, the Supreme Lord has granted us minute independence. And in the Vyasa Sutra, like we're discussing about Bhagavatam Vyasa Sutra, it is said, Karunayatatam. In the Vyasa Sutra, Karunayatatam. Out of mercy, Krishna has granted us minute independence because we are as good as him in terms that we are person, he's supreme person, and we are there to give him pleasure, to cooperate with them, to interact with them. This is out of mercy. You think about this. We could have been an inanimate object, lifeless object, but Krishna is so kind. He has granted us the same nature. We belong to the same nature, conscious nature. That is Supreme Lord. And the Supreme Lord is supreme consciousness. He is also conscious. For instance, to be Krishna consciousness, to be Krishna conscious, it means God is supreme consciousness. Is the original consciousness. And how God is conscious? He's conscious in his own name. So when we chant this holy name of the Lord, two things are there: consciousness and conscious, being conscious. That's what Krishna consciousness means, Krishna Chaitanya. And he's conscious, he's always chanting holy name. Always. This is Swarupa Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Always engaged in chanting holy name. So we need just to beg or to pray to the Supreme Lord to be engaged in this process of being Krishna conscious. God is a process of Supreme Lord. And being part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. When we are engaged in this process of hearing, chanting, it is Supreme Lord actually doing everything. We're not the doers. He's a consciousness and he's conscious. We are simply engaged in this process. Therefore, in all respects, in all, by all means, we're to be fully Krishna conscious, because there's nothing there. If we are conscious beings, because Krishna, the original consciousness, and we are conscious because he's conscious. Supreme Lord is conscious. This, of course, inconceivable. Also, this is also Chincha Veda Vedata. Jivara Swarupa Krishna Nityadas, Krishnera Tatasta, Shakti Veda Veda Prakash. We're one, we're energies, we belong to spiritual energy of the Lord. Qualitatively, we are as good as God, but we're differentiated parts and parcels. So we have a choice. So this minute independence granted to us is just to make one choice. It's just like when you have, how do you call this, the ticket that people use for lottery. You only scratch it once, or maybe credit. We earn from like the top of the phone. You get that ticket, you buy it, or you get it, but anyway you get it, and you scratch it once. You can't do that twice again. So this minute independence given to us, like I quoted from Vyasa Sutra, Karunayatatam, out of mercy, is to make one choice, Krishna or Maya. If we properly use this minute independence by choosing Krishna, and one, we come to the stage of Jivan Mukta, become liberated, fully liberated, then there's no way you're going to go back to Maya again. No way. Only one way. It's one-way ticket. But we only choice, we misuse a choice as long as we still in Tatastha area, marginal position. We don't make proper choice. We still not sure. For some reason, like some people, they say they're scared of realizing the spiritual nature. Some people, they say that they're scared of realizing the spiritual nature. This again, Maya, work of Maya. We shouldn't be thinking like this. We should understand that we are incompatible. We do not belong to this illusory world. We need to be in the light. Krishna Surya Sama Maya Oandaka. Ya Krishna Tama Yan Krishna Tanmaya Na Adhikar. Krishna is a fulgent sun, and Maya is the shadow, ignorance. Maya Andakar, darkness. Krishna Surya Sama. Krishna like a fulgent sun, Maya is darkness. Like at night, when there's no sun, it's all darkness. And the Shastra says that, come out of this darkness. Come out of this darkness and go to the light. Come on, just take. I can remember this verse. It said that just like an owl, the bird owl, it prefers the darkness. It doesn't want to see the sun. But in case of reality, the instruction for the conscious beings, or especially human being, come out of the darkness. Again, it is darkness in the material world. Like in the dead of night, even the greatest scientists, powerful, who can invent so many gadgets or so many instruments, tools, they can never make the sun appear in the night. We have to wait until the sun comes out on its own accord. So we are here in this dark and material world. Only by the will of the Lord we can again see him. That's why I was saying this verse, the deluded souls, they can only wait until they receive the mercy of Krishna. Jivara Kripala Kaila Krishna Vidapura. By the mercy of Krishna, day comes, we actually come in contact with Shastra, especially Srimad Bhagavatam, the cream of Vedic knowledge. Only by the mercy of Krishna. Jivera Kripaila, out of mercy. Otherwise, nothing. This is Chaitanya Chaitamrita said, Shastra Atma, Shastra Guru Atma, Apanakijana, Jivera Gyana, by the mercy of the Shastra, especially Shastra. And more than that, if you use the Shastra from Sadhu Guru, Atma means super soul. By the mercy of super soul, Shastra and Guru is available to us. Because Guru and Shastra are the same, like I keep saying, where we glorify Srimad Bhagavatam, the two places you hear Grantha, the scriptures. Let's say Grantha Bhagavat and Bhakta Bhagavat. Two words we hear Bhagavats, two Bhagavatas. So, the two Bhagavats are available by the mercy of Krishna. Jivera Krishna Krupa. Like this said, Brahmanda Brahmate Kon Bhagavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prashadipai Bhakti Lata Pish. After wandering throughout these material universes, in various pieces of life, since time immemorial, when the Jiva become Bhagyavan, very significant. Bhagyavan means fortunate. When the good fortune rises, they will get Krishna's mercy in the form of Shastra and Guru. And we have this example in our own life. How do you come to this point of remembering Krishna, trying to serve Krishna? Because we read Shastra, Prior to that, we didn't know. We knew maybe different ways about God, but to come to the to study complete science, which helps realize Supreme Lord, because realization is important. Hearing about God, studying about God, studying different various spiritual literatures, that's not enough. We have to realize, that's called Gyan, but we have to come to a platform of Vigyan. Vijnana means realization. That's a science. This is by the mercy of Krishna when we come in contact with Shastra and Sadhu, Guru. Then the Jiva, that time, can understand, oh, Krishna is my Prabhu, Nitya Prabhu, only Prabhu. Ekoli Krishna Arasabha Bhritya. Krishna is the only master. Ekoli Krishna Arasabha Bhritya. I'm his 1007. Everybody else, even Krishna's own expansions, swansas, they're always happy, they're proud, they identify themselves as unalloyed servant of Krishna. Krishna alone, Ekoli, is the master. So Jiva can understand this by Krishna's Brahmana Brahmate Kon Bhagavatam Jiva Krishna Guru Krishna Prashaded by Bhakti Lata Beach. This process to accept that Krishna is my only Prabhu, my only master, this is called Bhakti process. Only the Bhakta can realize this. Self-realization means to realize our constitutional position of being eternal loving servant of Krishna, and to understand that and realize that Krishna is only to be served. He's the primeval person. Krishna's desire should be served, should be fulfilled. And the best of all the devotees who does this is Srimati Radharani. Therefore, in Chaitanya can be said, Radharani alone fulfills all the desires of Krishna. Even in order for Krishna to get high pleasure, to taste his own mellow, he has to assume the mood of Srimati Radharani. He has to see himself to enjoy his own beauty within the heart of Srimati Radharani, which is known as Satprema Darpana. Satprema Darpana. The mirror, Srimati Radharani's heart is like a mirror. In that mirror is uncommon mirror. Nobody else has such a mirror. That mirror is so clean, it can never be compared to any other mirror of anybody else's heart. Only Radharani. And that mirror is more cleaner, much cleaner. And Radharani is just cleaning that mirror. No end. In that mirror of the heart of Radharani, Krishna sees himself fully. Like he said, my sweetness is fully, completely tasted by Srimati Radharani. So now, if Krishna wants to taste his full sweetness, he had to assume the mood of Srimati Radharani, to see himself through the mirror of Srimati Radharani's heart. That is known as Satprema Darpana. So we have to understand, because Radharani knows that Krishna's pleasure, Krishna's desire must be fulfilled, and Radharani does that. Now the question is, does Radharani has desires or no? Yes, every person has desires. Go. Atmavancha. or desire for personal pleasure, to get personal pleasure. Yes, Radharani has that desire. But how it is said that Radharani has not even a tinge of desire for herself. That because Radharani is unique in her position, Srimati Radharani's heart is known as Adheya, Adhara, and the characteristic Srimati Radharani is Mahabhava Chintamani. She's Mahabhava Chintamani. Only Radharani. So, in Srimati Radharani's heart, though she might have desire for personal, to get pleasure for herself, but this nature of Mahabhava Chintamani is so great. So this Mahabhava Chintamani is like blazing heat, or the scorching heat of the millions of suns put together. Millions of suns put together. Then that's kind of a heat is there in Srimati Radharani's heart. Now, when such a heat is there in Srimati Radharani's heart, and the desire for her to get pleasure is there, but this intense heat is compared to, like in this material world, we see when it's very, very hot seasons, and the hottest part of this planet, when it's hot for some time, no rain, everything dries up. The ponds, water, even some rivers, some big lakes, they dry up. They become dried up because of the scorching heat of the sun. Nothing, there's no water. Similarly, when the scorching heat with the millions of the suns are there in Srimati Radharani, that desire, a personal desire to get pleasure is completely dried up because the scorching heat of the millions of the suns in the heart of Srimati Radharani. Desire for her to get pleasure is no longer there. And what is there? Only desire to please Krishna. Desire to please Krishna, to fulfill all the desires of Krishna. But for herself, no more desire for personal pleasure. This is the Tattva Siddhanta. So, by Krishna's mercy, as I said, by the mercy of Bhagavatam, scriptures, we can remember Krishna, and Brahmana Brahmate Kun Bhagavana Jiva Guru Krishna Prasthade Pai Bhaktilata Bija. After wandering throughout the universe, through different species of life, when the living entity, especially human form of life, becomes very fortunate, he gets Krishna's mercy in the form of Bhagavatam, Vedic knowledge, and Bhakta Bhagavat. Granta Bhagavat, Bhakta Bhagavat. And Bhagavat, by the meeting of Bhakta Bhagavat and Granta Bhagavat, this bhakti, this transcendental knowledge, is again revived in the heart of the living entity. is revived. Is revived only by the meeting of Granth Bhagavat and Bhakti Bhagavat. And thereby we can realize our Sambandha Jnana, knowledge of our relationship with Krishna, Supreme Lord. Because Shastra is known, Vedas. It says, Videti Dharma Brahma Chavida. Videti Brahma Dharma Chavida. The Veda means that knowledge that gives you clear perception of who you are and what is your duty toward the Supreme Brahma, Supreme Lord. Dharma, Videti, Brahma, Dharma, Chavida. That knowledge that teaches our real constitutional position, Videti, Dharma, Brahma, Chavida. That which teaches us our real nature and our relationship with the Supreme Lord, that knowledge called Veda. Videti, Dharma, Brahma, Chavida. And that Veda has three tattvas: Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. That's why when we fortunate to receive this real knowledge of Vedas, thereby we understand then what happened. Sambandha Jnana is that we understand our relationship with Supreme Lord. We understand Supreme Lord, Supreme Brahman is a person. Like when Mahaprabhu was defeating Mayavadis, they always say Brahman, Brahma, Brahma. Brahman, Satya, Jagat, Mithya. The Brahmavadis, Mayavadis. Mahaprabhu was so kind, so merciful to deliver those Mayavadis. He explained to them the meaning of Brahma. He said, Brahma koi Ishwara, Swam Bhagavan. Swam Bhagavan, Shri Krishna, Shashir Praman. That's Supreme Ishwara. Brahman, Brahma means Supreme Brahma, Supreme Person. Because the word Brahma actually means person, because it's spiritual. Let me say Aham Brahmasmi. When we say Aham Brahmasmi, means I am a person. Only person can say it because we're conscious that now I am a person. So person is spiritual. Person is not a material thing. A person is spiritual. So Aham Brahmasmi, and Supreme Lord is Param Brahma, is Supreme Person. How can it be impersonal? And Mahaprabhu said that Supreme Brahman is Brahma Koi Ishwara. Ishwara Krishna. Ishwara Shri Krishna, Shastra Praman. This is evidence of Vedic knowledge. That Krishna is Swam Bhagavan. That is conclusion. That's a sublime Praman, evidence, Mahaprabhu says. Brahma Koi Ishwara. And that Ishwara is person. That is Krishna, who is all attractive. Krishna means all attractive. It's where Krishna, attraction and pleasure combined together. That is Krishna. And we can see that in our life. Sometimes I got an inspiration when people do not believe in God. I say, you don't believe in God? Or they ask, not necessarily don't believe in God, but I said, who is God? How can we understand God? I said, God means attraction. The power of attraction, that's God. And it's confirmed. Krishna means all attractive. And when you become attracted to something, naturally, you get pleasure. Otherwise, there's no attraction. If it's something doesn't give you pleasure, some situation of pleasing, I can be attracted to that. We become attracted to something because we get pleasure by being attracted. That's all together. So Krishna is pleasure and attraction together. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us the essence of Krishna consciousness is that Aradhyu Bhagavan Bhajesha Tanayas Tadhama Vrindavana Ramya Kwachidupasana Brajabadhu Bharjena Jakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumarthoma Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matamidam Tatra Darona Paro. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu concluded like this. Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajesha Tanayas Tadhama Vrindavan. The only object of worship, supreme object of worship, is Brajesha Tanayas, means son of King of Raj, Nanda Maharaj. That's Krishna, Nandan Krishna. Along with Dham is a transcendental abode of Vrindavan. So wherever Krishna is worshipped, and Brajavadu Brajina Jakalpita, that mode of worship, method of worship is that of Brajavadus. And this method is only found in Vrindavan. So the worship of the gopis, the inhabitants of Vrindavan, is performed in Vrajadham. And that is eternal abode of Brajesha Tanayas. That's because Krishna in Vrindavan, as son of Nanda Maharaj, is worshipped by Brajavadu. It's all together. That is supreme perfection. And all the pastimes of this Vrindavan, Krishna. Vrindavan means inhabitants of Vrindavan, Brajavasis, Krishna himself, and Vrindavan, they're all one. So everything that takes place in here is part of Madhurya Lila, sweet pastime Krishna. Outside Vrindavan, Mathura Dham, Dwarka, all that. There's also the Dham of Krishnas. They nourish this Vraja Dham. But some of those pastimes in Vaikuntha, in Krishna Vilas Murti, pastimes, manifestations, like the Chaturvya, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Niruddha, the Mahasankarshana, and then Narayana, Krishna, and then another quadruple up to Mahasankarshan, who is source of all creation. These are all soldiers. Those activities or pastimes of awe and reverence, full of opulences. But only in Braja Lila, in Brajadham only, it's called Madhura Lila. Krishna as a coward boy, Gopavish, Venukara, holding his flute, Navakishore, beautiful young boy, wears a tender youth, and never grows old. In Vrindavan, Krishna's old, maintain that age between 11 and 12. Very beautiful, full-fledged of beauty. That's Krishna Vrindavan, and Natabara is always engaged in displaying wonderful, loving, amorous pastimes with unwedded girlfriend in Vrindavan, called Parokiya Bhav, unwedded relationship, which is apparently condemned. And Krishna is treated as debauchee, but it is said Parokiya Bhav is the highly relishable pastimes of Krishna. So Mahaprabhu says, this is what Mahaprabhu came, not only saying this, but this is what Mahaprabhu came to give us. Unnoto Joloras, this blessing male of conjugal love. Mahaprabhu is distributing this. Anapi the Charinchara Karunajabati Nakar Samopayitum Unnoto Jolorasam, so Bhakti Shriya. This type of bhakti, Prem Bhakti, is very confidential. But still Mahaprabhu, because he's Surit, very intimate friend, he discloses it, he gives to everyone. He's testing it himself, he also giving to everyone. To test the same thing. He's not selfish. He doesn't keep it for himself, but he's giving to everybody to taste it. Such a Surit, such a friend, Mahaprabhu, Surita Sarvabhutana. We're explaining about friend, the different type of friend, Mitra, Bandhu. But Surit is the friend who gives himself to you. That means he gives everything to you, whatever he has. Just like Bali Maharaj, he thought he was more charitable personality. When Lord Ramanadev asked for 3 places to put steps, and then he couldn't fulfill his promise for the 3rd step of the Lord. Now, he couldn't break the promise and was condemned. So, he said, I've given everything, but now I give myself. I give myself. Atmanivedana. The perfection of this item of full surrender is, example, Bali Maharaj. Of course. But the best of that is his example of this. But the best of these surrender souls are Braja inhabitants of Vrindavan. So Mahaprabhu says this. And they said, Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam. Srimad Bhagavatam is Amala Praman. Spotless evidences, spotless truth. And Prema Pumartuma. So Mahaprabhu came to give his prem. Atyanta Durava Prema Koribari Dana. He came to give his prem through the Nam Sankirtan. Again, I repeat the same thing. Nam Sankirtan, the best of all the bhakti angas, or the limbs of bhakti, out of 9 Navavida bhakti. Sankirtan, Nam Sankirtan is the best. Tamadi Sarvashrishta Nama Sankirtan. Niraparad Loi Pai Primadan. This Nam Sankirtan Mahaprabhu is given. He's distributing love of God through this Nam Sankirtan. If we receive this Nam from Nam Tattva Vid Guru Gora Priyajana, intimate associate Gauranga Mahaprabhu, through him Mahaprabhu is giving this Prema Nama Sankirtana, which is a Durlabha. And that means we get this prema, we receive this prema through Bhagavatam. Now it is said Nam gives prema. right? The chief result, ultimate result of the chanting Hare Krishna is to get Krishna Prem. But Mahaprabhu said, Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamana Prema Pumarto. Srimad Bhagavatam is giving Prem. So, it's a Nama Prem. But Srimad Bhagavatam is Nama Puran. No different from holy name. To hear holy name and to hear some vibration of holy name, to hear sound incarnation of Supreme Lord in its form, Bhagavatam descend. Shabda Brahma, Supreme Lord descends as the sound vibration of holy name and Srimad Bhagavatam. Same. So, Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuran ki jai. Param Jayati Shri Krishna Sankirtan Yagi ki jai. Prema Purushottama Shri Sachinandan Shman Gaurangachi Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Gaur Hari Mahapranavatara ki jai. So, this is our daily activity. We have to take this determination. We should glorify Grantha Bhagavatam, Bhakta Bhagavat, and Srinam Prabhu. Not only daily, but 24 hours. We should meditate on this Bhagavatam. And meditate on Bhakta Bhagavat means same to follow the instructions of Bhagavatam that have been imparted, received through Bhagavata Bhagavat, association of Bhagavata Bhagavat, hear Bhagavatam. This way, we'll be able to constantly engage in Nama Sankirtana, again in association of Prima Bhakta, devotees of the Lord. And then we'll be properly situated, and then definitely we'll easily cross over this ocean of nescience, of darkness, because we remain always in the light. Like inhabitants of sun planets, for them there's no night, always light. So when we in association Grantha Bhagavat, Bhakta Bhagavat, chant the holy name, we're no longer in the darkness. Krishna Surya Samamaya Andaka. Krishna's dead, is Krishna like a sun, and we're there in the lotus of Krishna, we're fixed there, then there's no darkness. And darkness in the material world causes fear, lamentation, and death. So, if you take shelter from Bhagavatam and the holy name in association with Bhakta Bhagavat, then we go beyond this darkness. And we become eternally situated in eternal blissful life. Of rendering prema bhakti, loving devotional service unto the Supreme Master, the Supreme Husband, the most wonderful lover, Krishna. That's what Mahaprabhu came to teach, came to give this Ujjvala Bhakti. It's a male of conjugal love. And we know male of conjugal love is the highest. We have 5 main rasas: Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. But of course, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, he disregarded Shanta because there's no activities there. But Krishna, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chari Bhavadiya Lachambukon. He wanted to give the 4 types of mellows and make the whole world dance. Because that means Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhura. In those 4 mellows, there are activities there. And these activities in this Kali Yuga is Nam Sankirtan, chanting and dancing. So therefore he wanted the whole world to dance. Whether in Dasya Bhav or Sakya or Vatsalya or Madhurya, to dance. But if we consider all this, why did Mahaprabhu? He insisted in Madhurya because since he is the best friend, only well-wishing friend, he wants to give the best. And out of those mellows, those ratis, Dasharati, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, this Madhura Rati is the best because all other rasas are in Madhuryas. Let me give you an example, the gross material elements, earth, water, fire, and ether. So when you get earth, everything of it. Water is that, fire is that, ether is that. Everything contained in it. So this Madhurya Rasa, if we deliberately consider this, we find that Madhurya Rasa is the best. So since Mahaprabhu is giving the best, Saravatar, his avatar ceremony is giving the best, so therefore he's giving Madhurya Rasa. And through the chanting, Hare Krishna. Hare In this age of Kali, most degraded age, consciousness most polluted with the conditioned souls. There are no other means for self-realization. Only the chanting of the holy name, the chanting of the holy name, the chanting of the holy name, Lord Hari. It's in Naradiya Puran. Mahaprabhu preached this vigorously in entire pastimes. He is Sankirtanika Janaka, the father of this Sankirtan, chanting the holy name of Lord Hari. It's the only way, no other way is there. You achieve all perfection by engaging in this Nama Sankirtan, in association of genuine Gaura Bhaktas. And Mahaprabhu has assured, and we have to trust Mahaprabhu, we have to trust him. He said, Inichidu Sadimaya Nashibaru Lagi, Harinama Mantra, Lotumi Magi. That Mahaprabhu is so sure, I've come here, because of you I've come here, Tomari Loite Hami Hoinu Avatar, I have descended here as for you. Other than me, who else is your friend? Mahaprabhu says. Other than Krishna, we have no other friend. And he's given this amogo study, unfailing medicine to cure a material disease which is lust in the heart. Hridaya calm. So his heart disease in the form of lust can at once be cured by this transcendental elixir the Mahaprabhu is given from holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Where to trust Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Nobody else to trust. If we trust Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we will definitely achieve all perfection and go back home, back to God. Hare Krishna. Grantarashma Bhagavatam Purana ki jai. Paravijayati Shri Krishna Sankirtan Yaga ki jai. Jai. All glory to Shri Shri Guru Kuranga. All glory to assembled devotees. Vancha kalpaturvischa kripa sindhu vivacha pitanam pavani pyo vaishnavi. Hari Hari.